Okay, so where do we start if we want to live in the now? The place to start is firstly, you've got to see everything that occurs in your experience as it's just an event. And each of those events is neither negative or positive, they're just neutral. You actually get to choose what sort of connotation you want to give to each event. So you get to decide whether you view an event as either positive or negative. The place to start to actually start living in the now literally starts with you changing the way that you view all of those events which occur in your life. As long as you continue to choose to live in the past or in the future where you continue to choose to attach a negative meaning to any of the events which are occurring in your experience, you're obviously going to remain trapped in that cycle of ongoing negative emotions, emotions such as fear, anger, anxiety, etc. Just remember that it's your emotions. Your emotions are actually the language that you use to communicate to the quantum field or consciousness itself. Those consistent negative emotions that you feel when you give those events either a positive or negative connotation, or you attach a negative or positive connotation to those events, actually serve as the conduit via which you actually communicating with the quantum field. Those consistent negative emotions obviously engage with those low resonant frequencies within the quantum field, which obviously results in the creation of that very low vibrational interference pattern within the quantum field, which then is reflected straight back to you as that, or what we rather perceive as negative. In other words, those low resonant frequencies then mirror what we perceive to be that negative life experience that we don't enjoy. So if you want to shift your life experience positively, the first step is to learn the art, and it is an art, learn the art of living in that amazing, generous now, where you actually choose to view everything that occurs in your life as merely an event, with neither a positive or negative connotation. Because as you make that shift, where you begin to see everything as merely an event, what you do is you're empowering yourself to start shifting your emotions away from those place of fear, anger, anxiety, and you gradually give yourself the ability to start shifting those emotions positively towards love, passion, gratitude, etc. This subtle but extremely crucial shift is going to allow you to start that journey away from that place where you're using fear, anger, and anxiety as the language that you're using to communicate your intent to the quantum field. And just want to remind you here that the quantum field does not reflect your desires. What it does is it reflects the exact life experience that you're requesting via your consistent emotive state. So if your consistent emotive state is what we perceive as negative, well, then that's exactly what the quantum field is going to mirror back to you as your reality or as your life experience. When you consciously, and this is a conscious, initially, obviously it just becomes a new habit set, but initially you need to consciously shift away from living in the past where you're living in regret, or where you live in the future where you're anticipating things that are going to happen, which kind of invites fear into your experience. And instead you learn the art of living in the unbelievable generous now. What you do is you're empowering yourself to firstly, to start shifting those emotions positively, sort of away from anger, fear, anxiety, and you kind of bring it to a neutral, and a completely neutral place. So once you master the art of living in the neutral now, right? So you're going to be living in the neutral now. You basically empower yourself to begin that beautiful journey from that place of neutrality towards what we would perceive as more positive states of consciousness or positive emotions, where we can start living in love and passion and gratitude and eventually even unconditional love. Because as you master this, your consistent positive emotions, which you're going to be experiencing as you live in the now, where you can start experiencing love and passion and gratitude, etc., that is going to be the language that you're going to use to communicate and engage with the quantum field or consciousness itself. As you know, those higher resonant frequencies of love and passion and gratitude, etc., are going to engage with a higher resonant interference patterns within the quantum field, which is then going to mirror a way more, or what should I rather say, what we will perceive as a way more positive, incredible life experience. So invest the time today to start living in the generous now, because it's in the generous now that we learn the ability to move away from fear. Remember, as long as you live in the past, you're going to be stuck in anxiety and regret. And as long as you live in the future, you're going to remain trapped in fear and anger and anxiety about what you perceive may happen in the future. But the moment you can bring your consciousness, you can bring your focus towards living in that beautiful, generous now. It's firstly a place of neutrality, a place of beauty. It starts off as neutral. So as you live in the generous now, your whole experience is going to shift. Why? Well, you're going to start shifting. Firstly, just the fact that you've moved away from living in negative, or your consistent state of consciousness is negative, towards a place of neutrality. Now you're communicating kind of neutrally with the quantum field. In other words, that's the experience is going to come back to you. So it's going to definitely be more positive. But once you find or you learn the art of living in the generous now, what's going to happen is now you are gradually going to start engaging love, engaging passion, engaging gratitude, and those more positive states of consciousness are going to support you until you start living in that amazingly beautiful place of unconditional love. And wow, when you learn the art of holding on to, living in, resonating with unconditional love, that is exactly what the quantum field is going to mirror back to you. And wow, you are going to live the most beautiful, unbelievable life experience.